Chances are you've seen his face, or at least the face of his most famous creation. A monstrous, cosmic entity with the head of an octopus, the wings of a dragon, and a grotesque Cthulhu. H.P. Lovecraft, his influence on 21st century pop culture is, frankly, inescapable. From blockbuster movies like The Shape of Water and Annihilation, to TV shows like Stranger Things, to countless video games, board games, and heavy metal albums, his unique brand of horror of ancient, tentacled, and unpronounceable gods is everywhere. He has become the patron saint of geek culture. And for most people, that's what he is, a brilliant, if deeply troubled, author of weird fiction from the 1920s and 30s. But what if I told you that for a small but dedicated number of people, Lovecraft is not just an author? What if I told you he is a prophet? What if I told you that there are real, practicing occultists who perform rituals from his fictional Necronomicon? That the founder of the Church of Satan cited him as a primary influence? And that modern chaos magicians actively work to invoke his fictional gods, like Cthulhu and Yog-Sothoth, as real forces? This is the ultimate, profound paradox of H.P. Lovecraft. This man was not a mystic. He was not a spiritualist like Arthur Conan Doyle. He was a staunch, unyielding, scientific atheist and materialist. His entire life's philosophy was that the universe is a cold, godless, meaningless, mechanical void. So how did this man, the 20th century's high priest of atheism, accidentally become the prophet for a new, dark, and very real modern religion? Today, we explore the bizarre journey of Lovecraft's ideas from the mind of a nihilistic recluse to the pages of a pulp magazine to the authors of modern occultists. To understand the religions he inspired, we must first understand Lovecraft's anti-religious philosophy. Because, ironically, his gods are the ultimate expression of his atheism. Born in 1890 in Providence, Rhode Island, Lovecraft was a man defined by anxiety, tragedy, and a profound sense of alienation from the modern world. He was a product of the late 19th and early 20th century, an age when science was shattering old certainties. Darwin had shown that humanity was not the pinnacle of creation, but a risen ape. Freud suggested our souls were just a dark ocean of primal, irrational drives. And Einstein's relativity was showing that even time and space, the very fabric of reality, were not stable or absolute. For Lovecraft, these discoveries were not liberating, they were terrifying. He took these scientific truths and synthesized them into his own bleak philosophy, which he called cosmicism or cosmic indifferentism. The core idea of cosmicism is simple. 1. There is no God, no divine plan, no purpose. 2. The universe is a vast, blind, mechanical, and utterly indifferent machine. 3. Humanity is a meaningless, temporary accident. We are a speck of dust on a speck of dust, with no more cosmic significance than a moss or a slug. Our values, our ideas of justice, love, and morality are just our own local, self-invented rules, completely irrelevant to the universe at large. This is the key to his horror. The horror in a Lovecraft story is not good versus evil. There is no good. There is no evil. There is only the known versus the unknown. The horror is the moment of revelation. It's the moment a protagonist, through his arrogant, scientific probing, accidentally stumbles upon the truth that the universe is infinitely vast, infinitely old, and filled with forces that are not evil, but simply indifferent, and that our tiny, human-centric reality is a fragile illusion about to be shattered. The ultimate sign in Lovecraft's world is knowledge. Ignorance is bliss. This philosophy is the source code for his gods. The Cthulhu mythos is not a traditional pantheon. His entities are not demons or devils. They are simply the personification of his atheist, materialist philosophy. They are the face of the indifferent, alien universe. Cthulhu, he is a giant, alien great old one, lying dead but dreaming in a sunken city in the Pacific. He is not evil. He is just a vast, ancient being whose casual waking up would be, as a side effect, the end of humanity. We are as insignificant to Cthulhu as ants on a picnic blanket are to us. We would be wiped away without him even noticing. The outer gods, these are even worse. They are the cosmic principles. O Zathoth, the blind idiot god at the center of the universe. A seething, mindless, nuclear chaos to which all things will one day return. This is Lovecraft's version of entropy, of ultimate, meaningless oblivion. O Yog-Sothoth, a being that is all of time and space, the key and the gate. It's not a person, it's the physical laws of the universe, made manifest as a horrifying collection of glowing orbs. These are not gods you can pray to. They do not want your worship. They will not answer your prayers. They are simply the alien, immoral laws and forces of a godless cosmos, and the human mind that comprehends them shatters. Lovecraft himself was explicit about this. In a 1927 letter, he wrote, "If I were writing a story, I would, of course, call these entities gods. But in my mind, they are not gods at all. They are just a set of organic, material beings whose minds and powers are a natural result of the same material energy that produced us." So Lovecraft, the ultimate atheist, creates a fictional set of material, alien gods to personify his philosophy of a meaningless universe. How, in God's name, did people start to worship them? The first step in this bizarre transformation happened immediately after Lovecraft's death in 1937. Lovecraft had a wide network of author friends, the Lovecraft Circle, and he famously encouraged them to play in his sandbox, to use his fictional gods in their own stories. His greatest promoter, and his first heretic, was an author named August Derleth. Derleth founded the publishing house Arkham House for the sole purpose of preserving Lovecraft's work. Without Derleth, Lovecraft would likely be forgotten today. But Derleth did not understand Lovecraft's philosophy. Or, more likely, he rejected it. Derleth was a Catholic. He could not accept a universe of pure, immoral chaos. So August Derleth began to systematize Lovecraft's creations, and in doing so, he fundamentally changed them. He took Lovecraft's chaotic collection of entities and forced them into a Christian good versus evil framework. He invented a new group of good gods, the Elder Gods, who were fighting a war against the evil Outer Gods like Cthulhu. This was a complete betrayal of Lovecraft's vision. Lovecraft's horror was that there is no good side, no one to save us. Derleth put a good side back in. He Christianized the Cthulhu mythos. This Derlethian version, which was more of a good versus evil fantasy, is what was published and popularized for decades. This, combined with Lovecraft's most famous fake book, was the next crucial step. Lovecraft's most brilliant invention was a prop for his stories, the Necronomicon, a forbidden book of black magic supposedly written by the mad Arab, Abdul al-Hazard. Lovecraft knew he had invented it, he admitted it. It was a fictional MacGuffin to drive his plots. But his fans, and later, occultists, wanted it to be real. In the 1970s, in the full bloom of the post-60s occult revival, this desire was finally met. A series of fake Necronomicons were published to cash in on the legend. The most famous was the Simon Necronomicon in 1977. This book was a bizarre, brilliant hoax. It wasn't based on Lovecraft. It was a clever remix of Sumerian mythology and magical texts with Lovecraft's name's Cthulhu, Yog-Sothoth crudely pasted on top. It didn't matter. It looked real. And in a world hungry for dark, ancient wisdom, people began to use it as a real book of magic. The line between fiction and reality was blurring. And this is when the true religions of Lovecraft were born. Lovecraft's philosophy, combined with Derleth's war framework and the real Necronomicon, became the source code for two major, real-world occult movements. 1. The Church of Satan and Anton LaVey in 1966. Anton Chandler LaVey founded the Church of Satan in San Francisco. LaVey, like Lovecraft, was a staunch atheist. His Satanism was not about worshiping a literal devil. It was a philosophy of individualism, elitism, and rational self-interest, using the Satan archetype. As a symbol of rebellion against herd mentality, LaVey loved Lovecraft. He saw in Lovecraft's cold, indifferent universe the perfect backdrop for his own philosophy. If the universe has no God and no rules, then man can be his own God. In the Satanic Bible 1969, LaVey explicitly lists Lovecraft as a primary influence. He quotes directly from Lovecraft's stories and the satanic language he uses, calling his rituals workings and invoking the keys of Yog-Sothoth is pulled straight from the mythos. LaVey took Lovecraft's atheist philosophy and dramatized it, turning it into a formal, ritualistic religion of the self. To chaos magic in the 1970s and 80s, a new, postmodern form of magic emerged, most famously from England, called chaos magic. The core idea of chaos magic is that belief is a tool. These magicians argue that no god, demon, or spirit is real in an objective sense. They are just symbols in the human consciousness. But if a magician can force themselves to believe in a symbol with enough intensity, a state called gnosis, they can use that symbol to hack their own subconscious and, through it, hack reality itself, to make things happen. For this to work, they needed a symbol system that was empty, a set of gods that had no existing religious baggage. And what is the most famous, most detailed, and most culturally empty pantheon in the world? The Cthulhu mythos. Chaos magicians like Kenneth Grant and Peter J. Carroll began to argue that Lovecraft hadn't invented these entities. He had unconsciously channeled them. They began to create serious, complex ritual sigils to invoke Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep, and Yog-Sothoth. They don't worship Cthulhu as a god. They see him as a symbolic representation of cosmic chaos, a power current that they can tap into. They are using the fiction as a functional, magical reality. This is the ultimate, delicious irony. H.P. Lovecraft, the most pessimistic atheist of the 20th century, dedicated his entire life to writing stories that screamed, "The universe is a cold, godless, meaningless void." And in response, humanity, in its infinite and desperate quest for meaning, looked at his stories, at the very face of that meaningless void, and created a religion out of it. We gave his void a name Cthulhu, gave it a Bible, the Necronomicon, and created rituals to talk to it. We are so desperate for meaning that we will literally invent gods from a story that told us gods don't exist. This brings us to the final, fascinating debate. What is this phenomenon? On one side, argumenta. Is this all just a silly, elaborate game? Is it the ultimate expression of geek culture like Jediism or Klingon? A sophisticated LARP live-action roleplay that no one really takes seriously? Is it just a way to add a dark, edgy aesthetic to a basic philosophy of individualism? On the other side, argument B. Or does this reveal something profound, fundamental, and deeply ironic about the human mind? Is the God-shaped whole so powerful, so non-negotiable, that humans are psychologically incapable of accepting Lovecraft's vision of a meaningless, indifferent void? Did we look into Lovecraft's abyss, and did the abyss stare back, and were we so terrified by its emptiness that we had to build a religion to put a face, a name, and a ritual to it, just to feel like we had some control? Did Lovecraft fail because he was to write? Let me know your thoughts, respectfully, in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into the bizarre afterlife of an atheist's ideas fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that uncovers the hidden stories behind our beliefs and practices. Thanks for watching.